My love for musicals came from Rodgers and Hammerstein and watching all the classics on VHS or at the local, community theater. And so I wanted something happy and optimistic and structured in that way. And just in the same way that they would do it about people living in Oklahoma or Chinese Americans in San Francisco or people in the South Pacific, it was like this was our theme and this was our group of people. And it really was, let's try and make a really cool traditional musical first. And then the Mormon thing was this sort of, oh, here's the one, let's do it about this.
When Trey and I and Bobby started talking about Mormons, that aesthetic and that kind of the choice that the church makes to make that kind of their public image seems to just fit with musical theater. There's something about their attitude that just makes it look like they're about to burst into song.
When you're doing the sort of happy-go-lucky Mormon, optimistic Mormon, it just plays right into the whole Rodgers and Hammerstein thing, because there's sort of Rodgers and Hammerstein Disney Mormon thing that all really go together. There's a lot of, if you were doing a musical about steel workers and they were kind of being that cheesy and doing whatever, you'd be like, come on, but seeing Mormons do it, you're like, yeah, that's how they are.
LDS did some commercials back in the 80s, I think, and 70s and 80s, and they were just like these little, really like soft focus commercials about like being nice to people. Or like pick up the trash, like when like an old lady falls down, like help her up. It's just like, oh, someone dropped something, pick it up. And there were these little like, those weird little PSAs that just told you to be a good person. And at the end, it would say, brought to you by the Church of Latter-day Saints. They played these on national television. And that's simultaneously totally goofy, totally cheesy, and also kind of weirdly noble that they did these commercials that were just like, hey, out there, like, be nice to people. So while I don't want to paint with a broad brush and say, oh, Mormons are all super nice and, super cheesy and have this kind of optimistic attitude, but their church has really put forward, their organization has really put forward that image.